This is a stress soothing practice that is designed for your premenstrual and menstrual phases, but is supportive for any time during the cycle when you need a little bit of an antidote to stress. It's a great one to use in the evenings before bed or anytime that you're looking for a little bit of relaxation. I love using this type of nervous system work, this sort of energetic practice during the first and last few days of each cycle. For me personally, this is when I tend to experience sleep disruption. So right now, I'm on the last day of my cycle. I'm expecting my period in the next day or two. And what that means is last night I felt a lot of tossing and turning. I had that disrupted sleep. And so this is the perfect practice to sort of use the day after that type of experience to recalibrate the nervous system, to regulate the nervous system, and to help cultivate that relaxation response. So the antidote to stress. This one will not be strenuous in any way. We will move through kind of very gentle seated movement practice first before entering kind of some breath work and a little bit more practice for the central nervous system. But it is something you can practice in your regular clothes. It's not a workout by any means. This is more for that mind-body connection. It's more of an energetic practice. So you'll know that going in. You will need a cushioned surface to sit on, something that is going to be comfortable for 30 to 45 minutes of being on the ground. So that can look like having a blanket or a soft cushion under your sitting bones or under your knees when we're in the tabletop position. You'll also want to be positioned close to a wall. So we have this really lovely legs up the wall part of the practice at the end and a few stretches that are facilitated with the wall. So again, this is a really sacred time in your cycle where we're transitioning from high to low hormones. And this transition is pretty abrupt. It's a little bit different than the transition that happens at ovulation, where we see kind of a more slow rise to a surge. This is a pretty steep drop off at the end of the cycle. So you might experience a range of things. You might navigate that very smoothly. Whatever your experience is, you can benefit from this type of practice. This is also a great one to bookmark, to keep in your back pocket for when you have life stress come about. It's a great way to kind of soothe and allow you to stay more in that even, balanced, steady state. So let's go ahead and get into this practice. Let's begin our practice today in a comfortable seated position. You can be on a mat or something soft. You might have a rolled up blanket underneath your sits bones, just something to help with your comfort level so that as you're seated here, you feel a sense of ease. We're going to start with the hands just resting on the thighs or the knees. Let your eyes close softly. So allow the eyelids to be relaxed. There's not a sensation of holding the eyes closed, but just allowing them to rest. And just start to notice your breath without feeling the need to change anything at all. Notice the relationship between the inhale and the exhale. Notice where your breath flows freely, where it might feel more stuck. And then either with your eyes closed or open, start to just bring your hands onto your face, gently massaging around the temples and the forehead, kind of smoothing out the eyebrows and the hairline. You might go around your jaw, just very gentle touch to stimulate the nerves and the muscles in the face. Maybe with your thumbs kind of pressing just behind the jawbone here. And then a gentle massage of that space where the jawbone connects, the back of the jaw here. And then with your hands just gently start to tug on the earlobes. So it might seem like a strange thing to do, but this gentle touch can help to stimulate the vagus nerve. So it can help to shift us from a stressed state of fight or flight or freeze response into more of that parasympathetic state. So rest and digest, one where our bodies are allowed to recover because we feel safe. So know that this one is available to you anytime, just gentle tugging on the ears. And then you can release that, let your arms rest by your sides. From here, we are going to map breath with movement for a few rounds. As you inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Maybe send your gaze toward the fingertips without strain. And as you exhale, release. Try to map the movement to your breath. Inhale, inflate the lungs, reach up. And exhale, release the arms. See if you can time it just right so that the breath ends as your hands touch down. Again, inhale here. As best as you can, breathing through the nose throughout this practice. That again can help deepen the breath and stimulate relaxation. Let's get one more here. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, release. This time as you inhale, let the arms stay overhead. Take your right hand down to the right. Reach your left arm up and over. Feel that gentle side bend first. Really try to elongate both sides of the waist. Then you can bring your top hand behind your head. Broaden that elbow nice and wide. Press your head into your hand. And from here, as you exhale, take your left elbow toward your right knee, allowing the back of the heart to mobilize here. Inhale, open, and exhale, rotate. Inhale, re-extend. So here we're looking to articulate the rib cage, the upper back, independent of the hips. So we have the hips more or less in a fixed position here. We're allowing the upper spine to twist, to move independently, to experience that mobility and freedom. Last one like this, rotate in, and then slowly come back up through center, both arms reach. We'll take that to the other side now. The left hand touches down, right arm stretches up and over. So first, just experiencing this open side bend, elongating both sides of the waist as best as you can, really anchoring down through the sitting bones. Then bring your top hand behind your head. Take a big breath to inflate the lungs, press head into hands. And then as you exhale, take your right elbow to left knee. Just notice the first couple rounds how it might feel a little bit more stuck, like it's harder to make that rotation happen. We're doing this just gently, like we're trying to awaken that mobility rather than force or really be kind of strenuous with the effort. Instead, we're just through soft repetitions, allowing that movement to get deeper, and to let the range expand a little bit. And again, mirroring it to the breath. So inhaling to expand and exhaling to rotate. Last one like this, big breath in and exhale. You inhale, come back up through center, both arms reach. This time we'll take left hand to right knee, right hand behind you, gentle twist. So notice what that sort of T-spine rotation, the fluidity, what it gives to now a more static twist. Maybe you can gaze over your right shoulder even further now. Come up through center, big reach. To the other side, so right hand to left knee, left hand behind you. Let the shoulders stay directly up over the hips. So this nice, long, tall spine. And come up through center, both arms reach once again. This time bring your hands to your knees. We'll move through cat and cow spine in this seated position and really use the hands on the knees to create some leverage, a little bit of traction in the upper back. So as you're ready, inhale, send your heart forward, pull back on your knees to elongate the upper back. Think up and out as opposed to bending necessarily. And then as you exhale from the tailbone, curl and round in. Once again, gently pulling on the knees as you bring your chin to your chest. Inhale, slide the heart forward and through the upper arm bones. Pull back on the knees to create more length, more traction. And exhale, round. We'll do 3 more like this. Inhaling, really see if you can kind of pay attention to bone by bone as you lift up and out. So you're articulating each bone of the spine. How beautiful it is that we have this column that allows us to move in a million different ways. And exhale. Last one like this. Big breath. Lift through the heart. Feel the expansion. Just feel that energetic shift as you create space in the spine. Exhale around. Come back up through center for a moment. Give a shimmy and a shake. And then here we're simply going to circle the torso around and up. You can explore here whether you want the spine extended or slightly rounded. But imagine you're on the inside of a singing bowl and you're trying to capture every part of that inner surface. So taking wide circles here. Without urgency, then reversing the direction, noticing how that shifts your perception even just a little bit. And then we'll slowly again come back up through center. I want you to shrug and rotate one shoulder and then the other. So you have this bit of shimmy, almost a dance with the upper body. Circling one shoulder and then the other. Reversing the direction forward now. Rotating, allowing it to sort of twist and move the spine. Again, the shoulder is another amazing joint that has this incredible range of motion when we engage in healthy movement. A few more like this. And then we'll start to send the legs just slightly forward. So I want you to keep a generous bend in the knees, but the soles of the feet can touch. So you have kind of a diamond shape in the legs. Your knees might pop up. That's totally okay. I want you to thread your hands under that space underneath your knees and reach for the tops of your feet. So you're creating almost this little turtle shell with the spine. And I want you to draw the feet back toward you so that you come onto the front of the sitting bones. You might feel that deep stretch in the inner thighs, maybe the hamstrings. So we're lengthening the heart first toward the big toes. And then as you exhale, softly fold in. So this can be chin to chest, can be forehead towards the feet. If you have a block or a pillow or something where you want to rest your head, that's great. And just breathing here, even just hearing the echo that you can make with your breath in this very secure position. You know, kind of this protective quality in the body. Let's take one more big breath together. And then we'll slowly start to walk the hands out and up. Start to hug let's take our right knee in first. So we'll hug that heel very close to the sitting bone. Keep your extended leg as straight as feels comfortable. Then we'll wrap the left arm around that right thigh. Take your right hand behind you and just kind of wiggle the belly into your thigh. So we're creating this nice kind of container that we can then breathe into and create some strength. We have some resistance now in this twist. You can gaze over your back shoulder if that feels good. Just kind of massaging the belly, encouraging circulation there for the vital organs. And then we will switch sides. You can extend that leg out, hug your left knee in, wrap your right arm around that left knee. Left hand can come behind you. Again, option to gaze over the shoulder and just kind of wiggle. So you're aiming your right ribs toward the left thigh here, really creating that spinal twist and then the massage of the abdominal cavity. So the massage of the vital organs to encourage circulation. Last big breath here. And then we'll slowly turn back to center. We're going to turn to a tabletop position now, so hands and knees, for an exercise that's called the salamander. So first we'll set up our tabletop. We've got hips over the knees, shoulders over the wrists. I want you to elongate the crown of the head, so it's a natural extension of the spine, and it's very neutral, so we're not gazing up or bringing the chin to the chest. Now, sometimes that's hard when you're watching a video, so as best as you can, just follow the audio cues, gazing up to the screen when needed. You can shimmy and shake your hips for a few breaths here. And then the salamander exercise aims to uncouple a vigilant mind from a protective body. So it helps us break out of the feedback loop of our stress response, so out of fight or flight. It's very simple and it may seem somewhat benign, like it's not working, but know that there is something happening underneath the surface that helps to cultivate relaxation and that sense of ease and safety. So from this tabletop position, the first part of the salamander exercise is to gaze we'll start to the left. So send your eyes all the way to the left. If you were looking forward or if you had a clock kind of around your face, you'd be looking at 9 o'clock. So gaze all the way to the left. And then look back at the floor. The second part of the salamander exercise is simply to take the left ear toward the left shoulder. Keep the shoulders as still as you can, and this doesn't have to be a huge motion, so it doesn't have to feel like a lot of strain. We're just feeling that stretch in the neck. So we're uncoupling brain and body so that we have more freedom to be present. We don't get kind of caught up in these movement patterns. Come back through center now. We'll combine the two. So first we gaze all the way to the left. So keep your eyes all the way to the left. Without moving your eyes, you want to just tilt the head now to the left. So left ear to left shoulder. And then just like you're trying to look at the very edge of your left eye. And we're going to stay here for about 20 to 30 seconds. And just breathe easy. If you feel any strain, you can take a break, come out, make any adjustments that you need. So again, we're sending the eyes all the way to the left, sending the left ear to left shoulder. And you want to look for a couple of signals from the body, something like a sigh, a deeper breath, a yawn, a swallow, something that sort of indicates that your body is shifting energetically. So we're dropping into that relaxation response. We'll be here just a few more seconds, gazing all the way to the left. And then as you're ready, slowly come through center. Resist the urge to kind of move too much. Instead, just be in observation for a few breaths. If you need to take some weight off the wrists, you can always bring the forearms down to the mat. Maybe just allowing the head to soften and come forward. And only when you're ready, we will come up. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So again, this is sort of breaking us out of the feedback loop of stress. We can kind of get stuck in that movement pattern that can then create unhealthy body patterns and pain. So we'll start with the eyes first. So we're going to take the eyes now all the way to the right. So imagine like you're looking at the very edge of your right eye, or at 3 o'clock if you're envisioning a clock. And breathing all the while. So even just with the eyes, I feel that deep sigh kind of arise spontaneously. That's an indication of that kind of change in your nervous system. Gaze down once again. Now we'll do the head tilt to the right. So right ear to right shoulder. Again, it can be a very small movement. It doesn't have to be a lot of strain in the neck. And then we'll come back to center. We'll put those two together, and this will be our longer hold for about 30 seconds or until you start to notice those signals from your body. So gaze all the way to the right first. Let your eyes adjust. And then bring right ear to right shoulder. Shoulders stay steady and relaxed. And we're just allowing this. We have sort of a brain pattern in the eyes, so something happening in the brain, and then the stretch in the neck sort of helping to uncouple that unconscious pattern. Can help again to stimulate the vagus nerve and just provide that sense of security throughout the body. So whole body relaxation. And these are great practices for this particular time in the cycle, this transition from high to low hormones. When we're wanting to support recovery, we're wanting to support soothing, we're wanting to allow space for inflammation to resolve. And as we see changes in serotonin, you might experience low moods, and this can help just sort of calibrate the nervous system so that you are feeling more steady, more centered, less irritable. Let's be here a breath or two more. Again, eyes are all the way to the right ear to right shoulder. And then we'll come back through center. Again, just kind of releasing that movement however it feels best. And then we're going to come into a kneeling position. So just kind of to release the shoulders and the spine. You can bring your hands behind your head here. As you inhale, open the elbows nice and wide, lift up and out of the heart. And then as you exhale, round in, bring your elbows to the center, chin to chest, almost like you're trying to tuck your elbows between your knees. Inhale, open, expand, feel that radiance outward in all directions. And then exhale, coming in. Last one like this, big inhale breath. And exhale, round in all the way. We'll come back to our tabletop. Start to adjust and move your body closer to the wall. You can cross at the ankles. We'll roll over to a seat. So we're going to start with just a couple of stretches before moving into our legs up the wall position. So generous bend in the knees, feet are grounded on the floor. You want to bring your hips pretty close to the wall, as close as feels comfortable. So I'm facing forward with my right shoulder at the wall. I'm going to take my left hand and place it between my knees so that I have some fixity here with that squeeze of the legs to the center to kind of keep the pelvis stable. And we'll reach up with that right arm, turn towards the wall, create a cactus shape with that right arm, so that 90-degree bend. You can adjust as needed here. I want you to squeeze your left arm with your legs and then press into the wall with your right hand. Feel that stretch across the chest, that nice deep twist. So rotation, revolution of the spine can be very grounding energetically. It kind of helps to balance any unease that exists energetically in the body. So it has this kind of neutral effect neutralizing effect. So we're twisting here, lifting up through the heart, letting the shoulders float directly over the hips. And then slowly turning back toward your legs, and just notice the difference. Notice how that feels side to side. We're going to turn now so that your back is at the wall. We'll extend the legs forward. If you can keep the legs straight, that's great. If you need a gentle bend, that's great too. We're coming into a seated forward bend. So I want you to imagine tipping the bowl of the pelvis slightly forward so that you're on the front of your sit bones. You have that anterior tilt. You can reach your arms overhead or simply walk your hands forward. Again, the way I like to enter forward bends is with full spine extension first. So aiming the heart towards the big toes, the crown of the head stretching forward. And then once you have that, that integrity, that movement forward, then you can start to round it in. What I find is this allows for more alignment, for better alignment in the forward bend. If we go in rounding first, we don't get much of the forward bend pattern. So here we extend first and then round in. Let your head be heavy. And let your thoughts become more quiet, even more spaced out, so there's more room for pause in between. Forward bending, again, another great practice for regulating your nervous system, for neutralizing a stress response, promoting relaxation, and just getting the head below the heart and turning the shape of your body inward. It helps us to feel safe. And then we'll slowly walk the hands up. Unless you find that you're really digging that forward bend, please feel free to stay as long as you need. And we'll turn now to the other side. So I've got my left shoulder, left hip at the wall. I'll take my right arm between the knees, really hugging nice and snug into that arm, and then reach the left arm up and back, create that cactus shape, that bent elbow shape. And here we're squeezing the knees to the midline, and we're rotating the upper back here. Press the hand into the wall. Avoid kind of leaning back too far. Try to keep the shoulders directly over the hips. Notice any freedom you feel in your neck, side to side. And just improving mobility in this kind of these upper energetic centers that can get a bit locked up with stress. Just allowing them to experience more freedom here. As you're ready, release that twist. We're going to come into legs up the wall next. So bring your hip as close as you can to the wall. Lower onto your back and send your legs towards the ceiling. So this is an inversion where we have more blood flow coming to the heart. And with that higher volume of blood, your heart rate has more than it needs and it tends to slow down. So we fill the chambers of the heart, and then it's signaled to slow down, to relax. So this is one of the mechanisms for promoting relaxation, where we go from the body to kind of the brain. We relax the body to then create that response in the brain. So be here for a few breaths, maybe wiggling the toes, circling the ankles, just experiencing that kind of change in circulation. We're kind of inverting gravity here. And this is a safe inversion to practice when you're on your flow, or even before your flow. We often avoid inverting because we're trying to promote downward flow of energy. But know that this one is gentle enough, safe enough that it doesn't disrupt that process of release. And then when you're ready, you can either stay here, or if you wish to join me in a breath practice, we'll bring our middle and pointer finger to the forehead. You can bring your right hand, so middle and pointer finger there, right between the eyebrows. Give a gentle massage. You'll let your thumb and your ring finger rest over right and left nostrils. And then you can take a few breaths, maybe a big sniff to clear out pathways for air to flow. We're going to enter alternate nostril breathing, or nadi shodhana. So when you're ready, gently close your right nostril with your thumb. Inhale through your left. Pause for a moment at the top. Close the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close the right. Exhale through the left. That's one round. Let's do it again. Inhale through the left. Close the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close the right. Exhale left. Inhale through the left. Close the left. Exhale right. Again, without force, just letting the breath be as it needs to. Inhale right. Close the right. Exhale left. And release your right hand down as you're ready. This breath technique doesn't take much. It can work in as little as 3 to 5 rounds, just to help balance the activating and relaxing energies in the body. So left and right channels, bringing that sense of equilibrium. And just notice if you feel that shift. And we'll keep the legs kind of up the wall, but you can hug your knees into your chest just slightly until you feel your legs a little loose. And then reach your arms straight up. Again, let them be nice and loose. Before we enter our final rest, I want you just to shake your limbs. So shake your arms, shake your legs, shake your feet, your ankles, your wrists, your fingers, your toes. Let it be nice and fast. So really move energy through those limbs as fast as you can for 3, 2, and 1. And let your legs rest back on the wall, arms rest by your sides. You might feel that sigh. Now, as you've sort of been through this practice, we're working to clear any energetic stagnation that might be present. So any areas in the body or the mind that feel stuck or clogged. And these gentle practices can just kind of help create more pathways for circulation, both physical and energetic. And so notice what sensations arise here. We'll be here for just a minute or two, but I encourage you, if you find that when your eyes close, your mind starts to wander, perhaps just let the eyes rest. Let them gaze upon a non-moving point, something that can feel just very easeful. With your eyes gently open, can you just become aware of what's going on in your body? What sensations arise? And notice how that That physical sensation kind of dances with any thought patterns or emotions that come up. So that you can start to decompartmentalize, you can start to reintegrate these parts of ourselves that we might see as separate. We might see our thoughts as separate from the way we feel, or our bodies as separate from the way we think. When really, it's this beautiful, intricate system where our thoughts impact the way we feel, and then the way our bodies feel impacts everything else. And so just stay open to all of it here, almost as if you're calling back in, inviting back in all of the pieces of yourself so that you get to show up exactly as you are. And we'll rest for about a minute more. Making any adjustments that feel called for. And letting this practice, this posture serve you. Only when you're ready, bring one hand to heart, one hand to belly. And start to move your legs, your feet, your hands. And we'll slowly roll to the right side, enjoying a few breaths here first. And in your own way, as you're ready, coming back to that comfortable seat, the same place that we began. And here, as you feel your spine lift up tall, really honor your practice by allowing a few moments to observe. So allow yourself these final moments to notice how you feel. Acknowledge anything that you wish to carry forward into your day or the rest of your week, the rest of this cycle. And in the same way, let go of anything you want to leave here. It's this cyclical opportunity that we have to shed what we no longer need. So much in the way that our physical bodies are preparing to shed, to release, to flow, we can create that same practice, that same process in other ways. I want to thank you so much for joining me, especially during this sacred time of transition in your cycle. It is such an honor and a privilege. Thank you again for being here and for letting your body be moved.